that serves no purpose other than to distract the public from what's important. And then you've got stuff like this, whereby you're expected to learn something, you know? It's not just vapid entertainment. So, you know, it's the sort of thing where you have to pick and choose, you know? Not all pop culture is alike.
So you wouldn't break American culture down to just one group? It's too diverse, you think?
Oh yeah, far too diverse. You know, there's a lot of folks out there. You know, they'll turn their nose up at pop culture, not because there's any legitimate reason to, but because they literally get off on being stuck up. I mean, there are some folks that only achieve orgasm by turning their nose up at something, you know, and it's their loss. You know, they don't know what they're missing. I mean, how many decades has it been, you know, people thinking, oh, well, you know, comic books are just for kids, and then they miss out on everything that the medium has to offer. They miss out on Robert Crumb, they miss out on Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman, they miss out on so much, all because they have dismissed an entire art form onto itself, you know. I mean, I know why the stereotype exists, is because this comic industry is greedy, and they realize that this one particular genre is more profitable than all the others, being superheroes mainly. And so they've settled into that. They've, you know, gotten into a rut, as it were, you know. But thankfully, there's a lot of independent publishers out there that realize that the medium can tell any kind of story, and they do tell any kind of story. The problem is they're just not as famous.
How does Rufus the Black Cat fit into the American comic anthology?
I don't know, because it hasn't been accepted. I mean, Fantagraphics is here in town, and I've talked to some people from Fantagraphics. They have yet to take me on. I mean, you know, I may never know in my lifetime, you know, whether Rufus will be as accepted as, say, Robert Crumb's Mr. Natural, or Spain Rodriguez's work, or Trina Robbins' work. I'll never know, because thus far I haven't been given a chance. All I'm doing now is surviving. Barely surviving. I mean, the whole self-sufficiency thing can only be taken so far, and I've taken it about as far as it can be.
So do you think you'll catch on after you die?
It depends on how I die. I'm hoping for a nice martyrdom, you know? I mean, people are sad people get sad when they talk about the death of Dr. King. Me, I get envious. I mean, this guy gets shot by the government. My God, how can you, that's like a Viking funeral crier. That's like getting sent to Valhalla, you know? It's like your entrance into the Hall of Heroes, the Pantheon. You can't do any better than that. To die like Che Guevara, to die like Archbishop Oscar Romero, to die like Dr. King, I mean, die like Gandhi, that's the way to go. Because it means that you were so dangerous that your enemies couldn't simply abide by you being censored or obscure. They would have to take you out. It's a tremendous statement. It's a hell of a compliment, too.
Yeah. So you'd actually want to
be shot? Yeah, oh hell yeah, I've been wanting that for years. Now, it doesn't have to happen right away. It could happen years from now. It could happen, well, I don't want it to happen today because I don't want anything to happen to y'all. But the fact of the matter is the dream of every samurai is to die a hero's death. So, yeah, it's in the job description, you know? You put yourself out there. I mean, it's like a nail. You know, if a nail sticks out, it's gonna get hammered.
So, but how do you feel about not being able to enjoy the success of your comics then, if you're not around to see it?
Well, you know, the important thing is that you're able to influence people. That's what matters, you know. Hardcore militants and revolutionaries, they dismiss the media because obviously the jury's still out insofar as whether or not the pen is mightier than the sword. And those that are fans of Che Guevara, God bless them, they figure that the pen is too slow. You know, that if it works at all, it takes decades, if not centuries, and as a result, you know, too much chaos and mayhem has gone by since then. So, you know, people want the quick and easy solution, which is to just grab a gat and take state power like Che did. And I understand that, but those that discount the media, hold on a second. Those that discount the media always seem to forget about Fox News. Thanks to Fox News, W was able to cheat and steal the 2000 election. Thanks to Fox News, that lie about the WMDs hiding under Saddam Hussein's bed was able to be sold to the American people. Because of Fox News, you've got 2 or 3 teabaggers falsely inflated into a mass movement supposedly comparable to the millions and millions of folks that took to the streets in February of 2003. So, you know, the media does have its power. The problem is that thus far, for the most part, the power has been used for evil.
So where do you go to get your news?
Amy Goodman, Democracy Now!, commondreams.org, Alternet, the British press online, The Observer, The Independent. Let's see, where else? I mean, you know, you can trust the mainstream news insofar as them getting the basics right. But insofar as solutions, forget about it. Because any solutions that they have to offer is simply going to be a regurgitated version of what's been the case and what's failed thus far. Like, for instance, the oil spill that's threatening the Gulf Coast right now. How many people in the mainstream media is insisting that BP oil pay for that damage? Probably not enough, you know. You probably have some pundits on CSNBC or whatever advocating, oh, well, you know, we need to cut social programs in order to pay for the damage of the Gulf Coast oil crisis. You know, I mean, again, regurgitated crap. The same crap that they've been spewing since day one, you know? I mean, it's the libertarians rule this country the same way the Sheriff of Nottingham ruled England until Robin Hood took his ass out.
You've done a bit of journalism yourself, right? What's the biggest story you've ever broken that you think made a difference?
God, I interviewed Ralph Nader. I interviewed Howard Zinn. I'll have to show you the link to that.
Ralph Nader, you got any?
Let's see. I mean, there was a proposition in California that would have made it so that people collecting statistics would not have been able to list the ethnicity of the people they're collecting statistics based on. So in other words, it would have been impossible to be able to tell whether or not more blacks or less blacks are being swallowed up by the prison industrial complex. The proposition failed, and in my hubris, I'd like to think that the piece that I wrote about it before its passage, or before it came to a vote, somehow had a difference. Even though the paper I wrote for was in Nevada and it was going on in California, I'd like to think that, you know, I was able to do my part, you know, have my one drop in the bucket, make the difference between the bucket being, you know, almost full and spilling over the brim. I don't know. You know, it's hard to say. I mean, it's the only way to tell whether or not, you know, you made a difference would be, you know, hindsight is 20/20. You know, it's going to take some kind of supernatural experience, like in the movie It's a Wonderful Life by Frank Capra. It's going to take something like that to be able to see your life from afar and be able to tell for sure whether or not you've had that kind of an effect. There's just no way to tell. The only way around that, the only way short of that, is to get famous. If you get successful like Michael Moore or Aaron Magruder, then yeah, there's no doubt, you know. The mere fact that you got famous just goes to show that that you made a difference?
All right. 9 o'clock. Right.
I always try and recycle these if I can. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Usually I start from the very beginning and then collect flowers on the ground, but they're doing something different today, which is kind of throwing me off, which is having everything this far out, you know. Usually I get here just a bit earlier. I'll like...
Who do you find is your biggest customer?
Wait a minute.
Demographic.
Hold on one second. Hi. Can you spare those on the ground? Yeah. What I do, and again, you'll see this in a second, what I do is I try and make an impromptu bouquet, you know, out of what I find. It's not going to be much of one today, but that's fine, you know. Looks like I'm gonna have to clean that up. Can't tell, but from it looks like from here it might be doing some littering. Bad.